Welcome to Improve Your English Writing video number 44, where I'll be discussing the hyphen. This is part 1 of 2 of the hyphen, and specifically I'll be covering common prefixes and suffixes, which is rule number 42. A prefix to a number, capitalized word, or a word that might be misread, which is rule number 43, and suspending hyphens, which is rule number 44. If you want to get notifications to this series, please click subscribe. If you like the video or think others will find it useful, please hit like and check out links to videos and books in the description, like a link to the companion volume there. So let's get into it. Rule number 42, add most prefixes and suffixes without a hyphen, even though I'm discussing the hyphen. So once again, add most prefixes and suffixes without a hyphen to form a closed word. So here's some examples of a prefix. The accident occurred mid-block. Mid is a prefix. You add it without a hyphen to the word. What did the post-mortem reveal? Once again, you add most prefixes without a hyphen to the word. But here's an example of the prefix ex, meaning former, you add with a hyphen, so ex-convict or ex-husband for some examples. And the prefix self, you add with a hyphen, for example, self-serving or self-worth. Let's look at some suffix examples. The wind moved the grass, the wind moved the tall grass in a wave-like motion. So this suffix like, you add most suffixes without a hyphen to the word. One more example. What are the new statewide laws? This suffix here of wide is added to state without a hyphen. So I know I'm discussing the hyphen, but most prefixes and suffixes are added without a hyphen to the word. But there are some, here are two common prefixes which are actually added with a hyphen. So rule number 43, this time use a hyphen to join a prefix to a number, capitalized word, or a word that might be misread. So you always use a hyphen when it's a number, a capitalized word, or a word that might be misread. So let's look at the various situations. To a capitalized word, should have done the numbers first, but oh well. Capitalized word is the article summarized post-NAFTA economics. So here in NAFTA, this is a capitalized word, and I'm not saying it has to be an abbreviation, but this could be any capitalized word. When you have a capitalized word and you add a prefix, you attach it with a hyphen. And then the number example is, where's the pre-1900s machine exhibit? So since this is a number and you're attaching a prefix, you attach it with a hyphen. So now let's look at some words that might be misread. The ultra apathetic student unplugged the alarm clock. So in this case, this prefix ultra is attached to apathetic with a hyphen because a double A combination requires a hyphen. So anytime you have this double A combination here, so you have a prefix ending in A and a word starting with A, then you would attach it with a hyphen. For the same token, of the double A, here is actually the double I combination requires a hyphen. So the sentence, the doctor suggested an anti-inflammatory medication. Here you have a prefix ending in I and a word beginning with I, and this double combination of I actually requires a hyphen, because remember, we're going back to a word that might be misread. So second case, and a word that might be misread. Another case where it might be misread is do we need to recreate the scene? So recreate needs a hyphen. you think, remember, most prefixes don't require a hyphen, but here we need one for clarity because the word recreate, without the hyphen, it would form the word recreate, which has a different meaning. I just want to point out that other examples beginning with the prefix re are common in this situation where they actually need to be attached with a hyphen, because if not, they actually form a different word, which has a different meaning. So in this case, we need to add the hyphen to the prefix for a word that may be misread. The requirement is in the subparagraph, and a double prefix requires a hyphen. So here we have a double prefix. When you have a double prefix, you need to add or attach the prefix with a hyphen for clarity. Some more examples of a word that might be misread. The example sentence is, the ad stated it was post self-cleaning. In this case, a prefix to a hyphenated word requires a hyphen. So if you took out the word post, self-cleaning would be hyphenated. Remember, going back to prefixes that require a hyphen, we said self actually requires a hyphen. So if you're adding a prefix to a word that's already hyphenated, you attach it with a hyphen. So a prefix to a hyphenated word requires a hyphen. It would seem weird if you actually didn't have this hyphen here. This would all be one word, and that wouldn't look right. Or at least in my opinion, it wouldn't look right. The list had successful 9 non-high school students. So for clarity, a prefix to an open compound requires a hyphen. The open compound here is high school. This is considered an open compound. So when you have an open compound, you attach the prefix, which is non, with a hyphen. Just a note that the MLA hyphenates their prefix and the open compound, so it would look like this: the non-high school graduates. So that's how the MLA would actually write this. So, and I believe maybe Chicago Manual Styles would allow this. I'd have to double check that, but I believe you could write this in MLA. In Chicago Manual Style, but it would probably write it this way. But it probably allows this. But the MLA definitely says to write it this way. The new employee was eager but skillless. So in this case, the suffix of triple consonants requires a hyphen. Common situations include the suffixes less and like. So in this case, you can imagine if you had 3 L's here, it would look a little confusing. So any suffix with tripled consonants requires a hyphen. So those are some situations for words that may be misread. So let's move on to the next rule of suspending hyphens. Use a suspending hyphen with each adjective, prefix, or suffix that applies to the following or preceding hyphenated word. So if you don't know what a suspending hyphen is, here's some examples. If you're not too sure what this means, once again, always look at the examples, reread the rule, and it'd probably clarify everything. So here we say, I bought certified deposits for 12 and 14 months. Basically, if you just take out this, if you just said, I bought certified deposits for a 24-month term or 24-month terms, this term would be hyphenated. But what's happening is that you're saying 12 and 24. So this suspending hyphen actually, you can say a 12-month term or 24-month terms. So you actually need a suspending hyphen after the 12. Because the adjective, prefix, or suffix applies to the following hyphenated word. Another example is, I would guess George is 21 or 2. So here the suffix applies to 20. So once again, we need to add a suspending hyphen for each, in this case, suffix that applies to the preceding hyphenated word. So we add the hyphen here. I would guess that George is 21, or it's almost like saying 21 or 22, but you just said 2, but this word actually applies to the preceding hyphenated word, therefore it carries a suspending hyphen. Well, that's it for this video. If you want to get notifications, please click subscribe. If you like the video, please hit like, and check out links to books and videos in the description. Thank you.